wonder what happens when you mix hot lava and chicken?
Ever think a classic fairy tale could go so far off the rails it feels like a parody of itself? That's exactly what's happening with Disney's new live-action Snow White.
Rachel Zegler then inexplicably continued to post herself in an empty theater for her own movie. She's literally the only person there. Meanwhile, the experience at Minecraft goes something like this.
Chicken joe!
Yeah, the same person who was supposed to be Disney's next golden child. Instead, this entire production is on the verge of becoming that cautionary tale your film school professor warns you about.
Warner Brothers' Minecraft movie versus Disney's Snow White, which in theory should be quite a battle, but it's not even a fair fight. Snow White, of course, famously played by the insufferable girl boss narcissist, who's just clinical at this point, saying that audiences will always line up to see her no matter what she does.
Every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
The original animated version basically put Disney on the map. You'd expect any new remake to sail smoothly to $1 billion payday, but after all the rumors, leaks, and cringe quotes from Zegler, the hype turned into a swirling black hole.
You know what's interesting about all this is that the only person waiting in line to see Snow White was Rachel Zegler.
Now folks are asking if the meltdown behind the scenes is bigger than the fiasco playing out in public. Buckle up, there's a lot to unpack.
Rachel Zegler then inexplicably continued to post herself in an empty theater for her own movie. She's literally the only person there. And do you not understand how humiliating this is?
When Disney announced a shiny new Snow White, a ton of fans actually got stoked. The studio had a pretty strong track record with live-action remakes. Even if some of them had their flaws, they usually raked in cash. Since Snow White was the literal foundation of Disney's animated empire, everyone thought this would be the ultimate feel-good, can't-lose project. Then along came Rachel Zegler, stepping into the iconic shoes of the original Disney princess. Now, on paper, that might sound like a solid match. Fresh Hollywood star, proven singing chops from that West Side Story gig, and the potential for a modern twist on a centuries-old fairy tale. But it didn't take long for the shine to wear off.
Meanwhile, the experience at Minecraft goes something like this.
Chicken joe!
From day one, Zegler seemed determined to paint herself as some sort of misunderstood artistic genius who knows better than everyone else, including the fans. She hopped on social media like she was live blogging her own downfall. Instead of winning hearts, she started driving people away with comments that basically said, "You'll show up because I'm so amazing." Seriously, the arrogance was off the charts.
And the cops had to escort the rowdy teenagers out. The Minecraft movie is doing something magical. It's creating a live audience reaction event.
This was all happening at the exact moment rumors leaked about Disney gutting the original story. You know, the one with dwarfs and a sweet, innocent princess who didn't need to lecture the audience every 5 seconds. Word on the street was that the new Snow White was so jam-packed with so-called messages that it stopped being fun.
Encouraging to see a movie that decided to do the opposite of Snow White, which is, according to all available reviews, including from the people that I trust the very most on this platform.
Fans started side-eyeing every snippet of news, and soon enough, a wave of negativity was brewing. But hey, negative buzz can sometimes be turned around if the leading star keeps it classy, or at least acknowledges fans might be worried. That's what a normal celebrity would do, except Zegler took the opposite approach. She doubled down, hopped online to posture and brag, acting like the movie was guaranteed to succeed because, well, she's in it. If that doesn't scream PR nightmare, not sure what does.
It is non-political. The Minecraft movie does not try to beat you and box you about the ears with the message. It is just silly fun for kids, which is what a kids movie should be.
Now, Jack Black is a guy who usually shows up to set, brightens the mood, and leaves audiences howling with laughter. The rumor that he confronted Zegler about the fiasco swirling around Snow White took everyone by surprise. Is there any proof? Hey, it's mostly hearsay. Whispers that he called her out on how badly she was handling fan feedback. But guess what? People are more than willing to believe it because it fits the narrative of a production completely off the rails.
Whereas the Snow White model is the message ad infinitum, shoved directly up your ass, and most importantly, in the most insufferable possible way, like screamed at you.
The story goes that Zegler had a full-on meltdown after being told off by Black, which might be the most ironically satisfying twist in this entire drama. One moment, she's parading around social media like she's untouchable, and the next, rumor has it she's weeping in a corner because a comedic actor dared to speak some hard truth. Fans started asking, if the star can't handle fair criticism, how is she gonna carry a legacy film like Snow White?
And so let's see how they fared against each other. The Minecraft movie breaks box office record with $300 million global opening, while woke Snow White slips again.
Meanwhile, test screenings apparently sank like a rock. People described it as a story that starts off decent, like you might think, oh, maybe this won't be so bad, and then morphs into a mess of half-baked moralizing, bizarre pacing, and cringe moments that make your eyes roll. Honestly, you'd think the creative team tried to stuff an entire season of a poorly written TV show into 2 hours. And you've got Zegler front and center, delivering lines that sound more like a condescending rant than any heartfelt Disney monologue.
In theory, Snow White should as well. Snow White's the movie that made Disney, the studio. They should have been more cautious and careful with their own IP.
When it comes to Disney diehards, they usually rally behind whatever project has the Magic Castle logo slapped on it. They are famously forgiving. Even if a remake isn't perfect, they'll find something to love. But apparently not this time. Early watchers were sounding the alarm left and right, complaining about heavy-handed messaging, forced wokeness, and a general sense that the film forgot to be fun.
The Disney Snow White, faithfully adapted, would have made $1 billion. Everyone knows this.
Let's be clear, Snow White was never some deep commentary on society. It was a whimsical story about kindness, love, and a bit of danger with a wicked queen. The update could have modernized elements without turning it into a self-righteous lecture. So what went wrong? Most fans are pointing the finger at a total misunderstanding of what made the original special, and a huge part of that blame is landing right on Zegler, who seems to have fully embraced the role of the preachy princess.
So the film received a low score on Rotten Tomatoes, but 87% fan approval. The rankings were very similar to Snow White, which received a 40% critic score.
Nothing kills the vibe faster than an actor who brags about how they're redefining a beloved classic while basically insulting the fan base. People started memeing her empty theater posts where she apparently sat alone, waiting for an applause that never came. This is the same person who insisted that folks would line up in droves to see her take on a timeless character. That's like a bad comedic punchline waiting to happen.
Rachel Zegler, who was cast in the title role, but some diehard fans were upset that Zegler, who identifies as Colombian American, was cast to portray the Disney princess.
As the chatter got louder, Bob Iger jumped in, trying to reassure everyone that Snow White was still in good hands. He made some statement about how Disney successfully reinvents its classics to reflect modern sensibilities. Usually that's code for, we're adding some updated themes, but trust us, it'll still be the story you love. The problem here is that everything we're hearing suggests they messed with the formula to the point of no return.
It got destroyed at the box office. Here's the box office numbers. The Minecraft movie made $60 million on Saturday. Snow White made $2 million.
Zegler also tried to calm the storm, or at least that's what she claimed. But every time she opened her mouth or posted online, the frustration among fans only grew. One minute, she'd say the film was misunderstood. The next, she'd practically accuse critics of not being sophisticated enough to get it. Because, apparently a 1937 fairy tale about a kind-hearted princess requires a PhD in cinematic arts to appreciate Zegler's brand of brilliance.
Now, there is no doubt about it that Snow White 2025 is considered by far one of the worst box office failures, not just with Disney, but also in the entire film history when it comes down to live-action remakes. We already know that it's right up there with, of course, Dragon Ball Evolution on the IMDb rating score.
If Disney was trying to present a united front, nobody gave Zegler the memo, the meltdown. Rumors about her and Jack Black only fueled the idea that there was chaos on set. The more the studio tried to spin it, the more people suspected that something truly unhinged happened behind closed doors.
So with Snow White, let's go through this, right? There's no prince. Woman doesn't need a prince.
Oh, Lord.
Really? Okay, good
Shut
luck back then. Doesn't need a prince to save her, and not surrounded by 7 weird people. Oh, okay, just CGI fictional goblins, I guess.
While Snow White was busy imploding, Warner Bros. Rolled out a Minecraft movie that apparently caused a ruckus in theaters, but in a fun, crowd-pleasing way. You've got rowdy teenagers, big weekend numbers, and a general sense that the film actually understands its audience. Is it the pinnacle of cinematic storytelling? Probably not. But at least it's not humiliating itself with preachy dialogue and condescending marketing. Minecraft is basically the polar opposite of Snow White. It's all about silly adventures, pure entertainment, and not once does it pretend to be rewriting moral codes for the modern era. And guess what? It's raking in cash. Meanwhile, Snow White looks like it's stumbling toward a box office faceplant, overshadowed by rumors of meltdown after meltdown.
It's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about
she's gonna die.
true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Some folks might say comparing the two is apples and oranges, one's a fairy tale classic, the other's a video game adaptation. But that's exactly the point. Snow White had a built-in audience of dedicated Disney buffs, yet it's getting smoked by a blocky, pixelated competitor. Why? Because that competitor isn't lecturing everyone, or giving them a star who seems to believe her fans owe her unconditional worship.
That the producers, far left-wing activists in Hollywood, are turning on her, and Disney has canceled all of Rachel Zegler's appearances on their media platforms. Kind of tough.
Insiders claim that the production for Snow White had more rewrites than a college essay typed at 3 a.m. Scenes were cut, rearranged, reshot, you name it. By the time they locked the final edit, it apparently felt like a jigsaw puzzle hammered together in the dark. If the meltdown rumor with Jack Black is real, you can imagine that was just the cherry on top of an already stress-filled environment.
And there is no resolution in sight for the Walt Disney Company when it comes to Snow White 2025 at the box office. This is exactly why Bob Iger, the Disney CEO, is in pure panic mode over not just the Rachel Zegler backlash, but the entire backlash surrounding this movie in general.
Zegler is rumored to have been pushing for more empowered changes to the script. Fine, in theory. But empowerment doesn't mean turning every line into a moralizing rant. If that's how she wanted to modernize the character, it backfired spectacularly. The test audiences reportedly left the screenings either bored, annoyed, or rolling their eyes so hard they risked permanent damage. Then you've got the big question. Where did Disney go wrong? Couldn't someone have stepped in and said, hey, maybe tone down the self-important lectures and try to be a little more enchanting? But it sounds like Zegler was calling a lot of her own shots, and the studio either indulged her or was too deep in sunk cost territory to pivot. As soon as word got out about the meltdown rumor, the internet latched onto it like seagulls on a dropped French fry. People started spinning stories. Did Jack Black literally approach Zegler on set and say, "You're sinking this movie faster than the Titanic?" Or was it a phone call that left her in tears? No one knows for sure, but everyone loves the drama. For a lot of fans, it wasn't even about who confronted whom. They saw the meltdown gossip as confirmation that Snow White had become a laughingstock. Meme after meme cropped up, poking fun at Zegler's inflated ego. Even longtime Disney loyalists expressed shock that the star of a major remake could be so disconnected from the audience's actual wants. It didn't help that. Zegler seemed to keep throwing out thinly veiled insults at critics. She'd imply that if you didn't love the new direction, you must be stuck in the past or have some kind of malicious agenda. Way to win hearts and minds, right? The more she tried to deflect, the more it came off as tone deaf. Meanwhile, old school. Disney fans who'd usually defend any princess with unwavering passion found themselves crossing their arms and saying, nah, not this time. So here we are on the brink of the new Snow White release, whenever Disney musters the courage to drop it. If the meltdown rumors hold even a grain of truth, it's a perfect symbol for the entire project. Oversold, undercooked, and carried by a star who acts like the audience is privileged to bask in her presence. Does that mean the movie's doomed to flop? Well, the box office can be weird sometimes, and curiosity might drive folks to see if it's really as big of a train wreck as everyone says. But let's be real, if the final cut is as chaotic and self-important as the rumors suggest, Snow White might go down as the biggest misfire in the Disney live-action library, an epic meltdown from start to finish. For people who grew up loving the animated classic, this fiasco feels like an insult to a beloved childhood story. All that nostalgia, only to watch it get slapped around by bizarre rewrites and a lead actor who apparently thinks she can do no wrong. The Meltdown drama is just the icing on this half-baked cake. If anything, it highlights how out of touch this production might be. In the end, the real question is whether anyone at Disney will learn from this. Maybe they'll realize that pushing a vanity project is the quickest way to turn even the most diehard fans against you. Or maybe they'll blame social media, trolls, and keep cranking out half-baked remakes. Either way, Snow White has become a cautionary tale. If you're going to remake one of the most iconic animated films of all time, maybe don't hand the mic to someone who thinks the world owes them a standing ovation. Whatever meltdown actually happened, whether it was a backstage blowout with Jack Black or just Zegler's meltdown of public goodwill, it's all part of the swirling rumor storm that might end up overshadowing any redeeming qualities the film could have had. It's not every day you see a supposed Disney princess bomb her own PR this badly, but hey, that's the twisted reality we're living. Embrace yourselves for the final verdict when the movie drops. If the meltdown is as big as people say, the best part of this entire fiasco might be the schadenfreude of watching an arrogant star realize that fans aren't as easily dazzled by smug posturing as she assumed. Because if there's one lesson here, it's that treating fans like clueless peasants is the quickest way to lose your crown. And ironically, that's exactly what this Snow White seems to be doing.